Here's a blitz out of the 4-3 under formation, and it's going to use a lot of the same principles that I've talked about before with the free fire and the smoke mid zone contain version. And the thing that I like about this is that it's a zone blitz, and it's a cover 2 zone blitz, so you're going to cover the flats, which is often a good thing to do, because a lot of times when people read zone blitz, they kind of panic and they throw it to the flats, they throw it to the running back or something like that. And so really it's going to rush 5 and get pretty solid pressure on the quarterback. And I just think it's a really solid blitz to throw into your arsenal. And the good thing about it, other good thing about it is you don't really have to position a whole lot of guys before the snap in a whole lot of weird places, and so that makes it easy to kind of disguise what you're doing. So you can kind of fake this setup pretty easily and then bring pressure from somewhere else, as opposed to some of those other setups where you're moving guys around so much that it's really hard to come up with ways to disguise that and to come with some kind of other pressure. This would be pretty easy to mix it up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the play. The play is the 4-3 under, and it's just a cover 2 zone is what I use as the stock play. And then we'll go ahead and practice it against a shotgun three receiver set. We'll just look here at a play like a strong flood. This will work against under center or shotgun, but like I've said before, I generally just practice against shotgun, because if it gets pressure on shotgun, it'll get pressure on under center almost all the time. So basically all you need to do is move this outside linebacker here in between the defensive tackle and the defensive end, and then you want to re-blitz him. And then you want to select this defensive tackle that's next to him and re-blitz him. And then the only other thing that you have to do is, and you don't absolutely have to do this if you don't want to, but I think it's a good idea just because of the containment issues that the game has, is to select this defensive end on the right side here and put him in contain. And so this is basically the final version of it. There are some other things you could do coverage-wise if you wanted to, if you had enough time. You might could put those cornerbacks in buzz zones if you wanted to do that, or you could leave them in flats. I mean, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. I kind of like buzz zones compared to flat zones generally, but you can leave them in flat zones and the play will still work. So let's go ahead and take a look at the play, and then we'll break down what happened. All right, let's go ahead and go into instant replay mode, and basically it's the same thing as we looked at with the free fire. One of these two defenders over here on the left side, either the outside linebacker or the defensive end, will come in unblocked every single time. I mean, I have run this play. I don't know how many times I ran this in practice when I was labbing it up, and every single time it came through. So unless they slide protect, one of those guys will come through. And then again, the other concept here is that if we didn't put this defensive end in contain, then there'd be a possibility for this. See how this center and the tackle, or the center here, comes back to block, and so there's a possibility that if you were to play with a really mobile quarterback, he might be able to scramble out here to the right side and give that center an angle to get a cut block animation on this defensive player. But because we put this player in contain out here, now we eliminate that, so that they can't scramble out to the right side to avoid the left side blitz. And so even on the off chance that this center were to be able to make the block to come in and try to pick up the blitzer, he's going to hit him at such an angle that the guy's almost always going to bounce off the block and still force the quarterback to go right and into our containment. And again, if you look at it, this was a cover 2 blitz. So we have 5 guys dropping into zones. We got both flats covered, both of the deep half coverage with our safeties, and then we have 2 linebackers underneath dropping into hook zones. And so you can manually control with one of those players. And anyways, I think this is a pretty solid blitz. And the other thing about it is, like I said before, since you really only had to move this outside linebacker up into the gap right here, you could theoretically do that. Say like you brought this guy up into the gap, and if you were going to try to get them to try to slide protect to the left, and then maybe instead of blitzing him, you came with a play that blitzed one of these guys, this middle linebacker or your outside linebacker on the right side. So you could set up all kinds of things, or maybe you could even move him into the gap and give this blitz pre-snap look, and then have him back off into a zone and drop everybody but the defensive line off into zone. There's a lot of things you could do with this to confuse your opponents. So anyways, that's just the basic look of the 4-3. It's a 4-3 under, cover 2. I've been playing around with these under and over defenses, and also the 46 Bear defenses. I got a couple 46 Bear defenses that I might want to look at later. But what I'm noticing here is that a lot of these defenses have natural overloads, and you can use those just by manually positioning one or two players, and pretty easily create some good zone blitzes that'll get or man blitzes that'll get quick pressure on the quarterback. So look for some more of those. We'll try to find some more creative ways to maybe use those. and maybe look at some ways to try to mix this up with some other things. But again, you could use this with a cover 3 play or any other kind of zone play or even a man play that you wanted to. I like the cover 2 play here. This would probably be my #1 choice to run out of this. But you could use all kinds of other different things if you wanted to. So anyways, I hope you guys have some success with it. It's the 4-3 under, cover 2, and then we convert it to a cover 2 zone blitz.